The Herbert's discourse in which Slavoj Žižek moves could be superimposed on the Heideggerian teaching with the following analog, or um, with the following um, bare mirror as part of a mise en abîme, or contrary to that, simply in order to see whether Zizek knows what he doesn't know in a way which is not entirely outside the thinking called Heidegger, with the rubric Heidegger over it. If Zizek is understood to explode the metaphor, the Hegelian, almost Zen koan, the spirit is a bone, so that what is usually taken as nature or the world of facts, or to take the more closer to ourselves, the analytic philosophy problem stemming from the so-called hard problem of consciousness, called the the philosophic zombie. The philosophic zombie is in the so-called natural or material or real world. And then we see that world as something which is somehow a symbol which is more true than the truth. But the truth also includes the consciousness, or the one that's there so far as the factual, direct, material truth would say this is a zombie. There can't be anything extra added on. These two so far as Zizek moves in these two overlapping regions, could be, we could superimpose, let's do it the other way, they superimpose Heidegger's ready to hand over nature and over the philosophic zombie, and the present to hand over the rest of it, so over the spirit, let's say. So the Zuhandenheit is the bone, and the spirit is the Vorhandenheit. So how so far that gets into the center of the Heideggerian teaching is another question. But I would say we see something ontological, so to speak, there. We see something that's essential to every ontic part of Heidegger. Heidegger said it seems to be the case that one always has to go through the ontic to get to the ontological. So in this case, we somehow, through thinking of these different examples and so on, of the person taken as something where the doubt arises that they're actually someone there. Maybe they're just the chemistry of zombie movement. And these other examples, through those we get to something that's very close to the center of Heidegger, which is Vorhandenheit and Zuhandenheit. And then we see that for Dasein, the flickering back and forth between the two, which can happen at any moment, is somehow part of the being of Dasein, its way of being, and therefore ontological, even though sort of the steps we take to enter into that thinking um, is ontic or observable. We could describe them. Um, Again, here there's this question of when are we really rushing forward and piercing the issues, the phenomena, looking at what's happening, and when are we somehow falling into something that could just be a dogma without anything anyone can phenomenologically look at and say, yeah, I can also observe that. So I guess addendum, let's say, remember so here phenomena, what does it mean? It's we can only know that by making different approaches. Say the phenomena was for the Greeks that which shined forth, and what shined forth is the things for the eyes and the ears and the pressure of the earth and the taste and smell. First and foremost, that's. But then they start to raise various questions, such as the Heraclitean questions of the difference between the thing that changes and the things that's the same, and different quote-unquote faculties begin to appear, such as nous, if one could downgrade nous in that way. But in any case, to speak of what phenomena is, we'd probably have to try to show some specific way to it, and clearly we know that Kant has used this term in a specific way in connection basically to his empirical realism, which is basically a quantity realism, just like Descartes, and just like basically in order to account for Galileo's physics, or mathematical physics. Although in Descartes it was just to account for his system for changing algebra into geometry. So even the entry and the understanding of what counts as a cogent answer to what one of the basic terms we're using here, phenomena rather than dogma, is something that can't be taken for granted, but we have to treat that as something grave and weighty, and in fact also using it within the hermeneutic circle of that question in order to show whether there's a difference between phenomena and just saying something.